is my studio space. This is where I work every day. So I'm gonna start with my desk because this is the most used space, and share the paintings that I'm working on too. This one here is a painting I'm working on to design a yoga mat for a yoga mat company. It's going really well. I had to fix a little spot here in the corner. It's all painted with gouache, mostly regular gouache, but some acrylic gouache as well. I like to use the acrylic gouache on the background. That way, when I'm painting on top of it, it doesn't move around. So it's not, once it's dry, you can't re-wet it with the water and rework it like you would with regular gouache. And then here in my sketchbook, I'm working on some designs for a new collection. My collection is based around gardening. So I have this idea in mind to create seed packet designs. So this is the first one I've gotten down so far. I want to do about four to five. I think I'm going to do zinnias, also forget-me-nots, and I think moonflowers, because I love the dark backgrounds. So I think moonflowers will look really cool. So I can do kind of a almost, just a really cool night scene in the background. But yeah, I thought the little bee there was cute with the asters. But yeah, I got another one going with the teal background. I gotta do a little extra here because I had some lettering that I didn't like that I wanted to fix, so I had to go back over it. And this is my gouache palette, which is, I just love it. I never wash it off. I just keep going over it and over it, which I think looks really cool. I don't know. I just love it. It's actually a vintage deviled egg tray. I got it on Etsy, and that's the bottom. Even the bottom is cool. I have a blue one too, but this one is white, so the white, you could see the colors a little better, even though the white's covered anyways with the color. So, but yeah, it works really well for a gouache palette. Then I have these little flower shaped palettes for watercolors. Usually I keep one for the warms. I got purple there. Kind of for the more warmer colors and kind of cooler like blues and greens. And then my water cups. This one was a gift from my husband from a potter. I thought that was so cool. So you can lean your brushes on there. I can show you. Lean your brushes on there to dry, which is really cool. And then this one's just like an old jelly jar, jelly or jam, something like that. Same with this one. Yeah. And then these are reusable paper towels, so I could just throw them in the washer, when I'm done with them, and reuse them. I actually have more here in my cart. Maybe I have some cleaner ones. They get stained, of course, from the pigments, but they work pretty good. I still have regular paper towels, just because they soak up a little bit more, for mistakes or, whatever. And then in my drawer here, I have more watercolor paints. These are some really old ones. Ooh, I forgot about this color. I'm gonna have to use this. I'll put it in there. These are like my most used, so I keep them in this bowl. But that doesn't mean these guys, are thrown to the curb. These, ooh, dusk violet too. See, I'm finding oh, yay. Ooh, there's a dusk green again. I'm gonna have to use those. Those look really pretty. They look like they're really granulating colors. So anyways, and then I have the duochrome colors. These I've had for a really long time too. You can see they're really used up. They're so pretty to mix with your paint or put on top of. They're just they really create a magical painting. Some more little cute guys here. This is a nice palette of colors. See if I can open it with one hand. I really like these colors a lot. I have another one. I think I have it in another bin, but it's called Woodlands, which is really pretty too. But yeah, those colors are really pretty. I love this purple. It's just so pretty. It's called Purple Smoke Tree. But yeah, I highly recommend these watercolor palettes. You can get them on Amazon. I want to say it's probably $20, but yeah, highly recommend it. And then I got these guys. Lots of sparkly guys from many years of collecting. They're really pretty too. You can also mix these with your watercolors, because these are just watercolor paints, or put on top of when they're dry. And you got these guys, like little buttons. I can open it with one hand. Yeah, those are really cool. Really pretty. I should put one of my stickers on there. Goes with the colors there. Got a palette of colors here. These are 4 watercolors by Golden. They have really great colors. Really like them. These are old tiles, or not old tiles, but unused tiles, I should say, like samples that you can get. And, you know, instead of just tossing them, I use them as palettes. So this one is gouache. And then this one has the duochrome colors. It works really well with palettes, especially for gouache and the duochromes. These are thicker than regular watercolors. It seems like these tiles kind of hold it better than regular watercolors. I hope that makes sense. And then in this drawer, I have my oils. I haven't painted with oils in a bit. I really want to again. I just haven't had the urge to make the mess with them yet. I just haven't had the chance to plan a painting for it either. With, you know, smaller paintings like this, even these bigger ones, I feel like there's I can fix it a little easier. Like if I mess up or whatever, I can fix it a little easier than I could with oils. I don't know, maybe that doesn't make sense, but I hope it does. Oil paints are really, really beautiful. The finished painting is just like, wow. And painting with them is just, it's really cool. There's a lot to it. A lot of cleanup. Yeah. Yeah, and then I'll show you my cart here. I have my little rolly cart. I've got my paper towels on there, like I was saying, and some more paints. This is a palette of paint in here, which when I started back with watercolors, I bought this. So I used this palette quite a bit over the summer, last summer. So yeah, it's been well loved. And then sketchbooks down here. I'll definitely have to have another video with sketchbooks, kind of show you the pages in there. Because not all the pages look nice. They all look like, you know, they're practice. So it's a sketchbook, and I think that's what it's for. Just to have fun and play around. And some watercolors here in my palette. Got this cute book. This cute book of gouache paints. And just some little really pretty, I don't know, okay, I was gonna say I can't open it. These are really pretty, really cute colors. These are acrylic gouache. So I like these for backgrounds. Like I used, which one is it? Ultramarine blue for this background. It worked perfect. Like acrylic paint basically, but with more buttery texture, if that makes sense. If you paint with them, you know, let me know if you like them. I like them a lot. Just be careful what brushes you're using. I try not to use water, you know, the brushes I use for my watercolors with the acrylic gouache. Or gouache really, but I set aside, you know, like these brushes. These are for acrylics, so I just use those with the acrylic gouache, and it works well. And then over here, I just have a cabinet full of more art supplies. I have my brushes, you know, scissors, things I need, salt, just to create like textures and paintings. That brush I use if I do gold leaf. So I'll kind of sweep off the gold leaf, you know, when it's done, sweep off the excess of the gold leaf. Some more supplies here. I love these little jars to keep gouache in. That way it stays wet. So if I'm using the regular gouache or even the acrylic gouache, I put them in these little jars to keep them moist. That way, if I make a mistake or anything like that, I can, you know, fix it real quick with the background. Especially if I'm using it or I'm mixing different colors for the background, like, you know, green and blue or, you know, purple and pink or whatever it is, then I have that on hand. This, oh, it is so cool. Another goodie for adding extra sparkles. Let me show you because it is so cool. It is really, really pretty. It's called Aqua Bronze. It's a water-soluble glitter. Okay, I don't know, like, this is the first time I've ever had it. So it's made of metal, I guess. So you have to be careful not to inhale it or anything like that. If you use this, just be careful. I didn't know that at first and I was like using it and then I read online, like I should probably maybe wear something just so I don't inhale it. It's really, really pretty. There's a couple different colors. I want to say like 5 different golds, and I think there's silver. I love it. And I think this little little tube will last, or glass jar will last forever. So well worth it. And then I have this mural here. I'm not really sure what to do with. So maybe you can help me. Maybe finish it, because it's very unfinished. It's basically the first layer. I don't know if I should just paint over it and just have one color wall. Maybe put up some art prints or something like that. Or put up some paintings. Yeah, I don't know. I haven't decided yet, but maybe you can help me in the comments. If you have any ideas of what I could paint there or paint over it, maybe put up a shelf for books. And then in the cabinet, let's see what we got. These handles, I think hardware handles, knobs, whatever you want to call them. They are so cool. I got these on Etsy. I originally got them because I had closet doors and I was going to put them on the closet doors, the little knob on there, but they didn't fit and I ended up taking the closet doors off anyways. So I thought the gold looked really pretty with this like kind of dusty teal color. Yeah, I don't know. It turned out really cool. And then I got the handles too to match. Originally the handles were like a silver color. I don't know, silvery black color. I don't know what to call it. Yeah, and just kind of have some miscellaneous in here. These are water soluble painting sticks. They're really fun. So you could use, you know, if you like watercolors, you might really like these. I can open them up and show you too. It's really hard to open things with one hand. Okay. So they're really fun. Maybe create like a portrait with these. You just, you know, put them right on the paper and then get your paintbrush and, you know, use it like you would kind of with like a watercolor marker, I guess, except for they're like chalk. The colors are really pretty. Create like maybe a cool sunset or I don't know, anything really. Really pretty. Then I have some acrylic markers. I use acrylic markers quite often. So I just ended up buying a big pack of them. I feel like I go through the markers quite a bit. This brand of gold marker, I use this a lot too. Really, really awesome. It is called Pen Touch. They're by Sakura. I think that's how to say it. But they're really, really great. These are kind of like crayons. I'll show you. These are also aqua, I want to call them crayons because they look like crayons. They're water soluble. You can use them with water as well. Just kind of like the sticks that I just showed. Just some extra palettes here. Like this little cute little tiny guy. I usually use it for just one color. It's so cute. And it looks cool with like when you take pictures of your paintings, you know, with it alongside it. And just some charcoal. I really like the Raven powder charcoal there. It's really cool for if you want to do a charcoal drawing with powder. Really fun. I have cords, of course, and a projector. So the projector is great for if I draw something on my sketch pad and I don't want to redraw it on my watercolor paper because, or canvas or whatever, because you know that's a whole nother, maybe an hour, 2 hours, whatever, however long it takes. It's nice to have that drawing already done on the paper, and then I take a picture of it, and then I use the projector to project it onto whatever surface that I need to trace it on. So I'm basically tracing my own art, just to kind of cut out that, you know, that extra drawing time. And then here I have some tapes, just tape measure and box cutter, things like that. And then I have my certificates and business cards, thank you cards, some scents and things in here. So here's my closet. I took the doors off. Well, actually my husband took the doors off for me because they were just always open and it just seemed like they were taking up space that was unnecessary. So that helps so much because it just feels like extra room here to put my shelf in and more supplies. So I can kind of go through, you know, what supplies I have in here. Started to do wallpaper, didn't like it. Not necessarily that I didn't like the pattern, I just didn't want to put up wallpaper. And then I have canvases down here and wooden panels. I have my stickers. I sell my stickers at a local shop and also on my website. So I have these little tags along with them that I cut them up to size and then put the prices on the back of them. keep them in here just to keep the dust out, keep them nice and tidy. If I can get the lid back on. And then I have my paintings here, my watercolor paintings inside of a bin too, just to keep them clean. They are paper, just to kind of protect them a little more. And then here I have lots of just miscellaneous papers and things. Made some sketchbooks in here. Black paper. Is this watercolor paper? It is. So black watercolor paper. Or sketching. Actually, I think that's sketching paper. Then some kind of random stuff in here. My kids' old watercolor palettes that they made. And some gold leaf. And some art prints from some other artists I'm still wanting to paint up. Miscellaneous. And then a lot of old stickers. Gosh, some of these are probably 5 or 6 years old. Yeah, I used to sell a lot of stickers, so that's why I have so many. And then here I have some books. And then all of my external hard drives. And I keep like kind of computer stuff in there, or cords, you know, USB cords and things like that. And then here I have some large sheets of paper, watercolor paper. Let's see here. I'm hoping to paint a really big watercolor painting soon. I really want to. I think it'd be really cool. Kind of thinking maybe some big stones. This painting isn't finished yet, but I learned the technique from Let's Make Art from Sarah Cray. This is actually the second version, and that's the first. I thought it was so fun I created another one. I don't know. I think it's really important to have fun, you know what I mean, and create something for yourself too. So yeah, I'm hoping to create a large size painting of these rocks, probably on one of those bigger pieces of paper, and then hang it up in my living room, because I think the colors, especially the ones I use here, will really match. I have dark blue couches, so we recently painted the walls like a kind of light greenish blue, kind of like with a gray to it, so it's a really calming space, so I think the rocks would really look cool there. I mean, it's just such a cool technique. And then here in my bins, I have a lot of kind of random stuff here. Kind of just some random things. This is like a bin I would carry through the house. Like a lot of times when it's warm outside, I'll work outside, like on the deck, on a chair, or on the table, out on the deck, you know, and paint with watercolors. Because it's just so easy to, like I've tried it with oils, but like I said, it's such a mess. And I'm always worried to like fling my paintbrush somewhere, get oils everywhere. Feel as confined maybe with watercolors. I don't know if that's what I'm trying to say, but it's just a little bit of an easier cleanup. And then, you know, just have to bring a water jar down and some couple paintbrushes and things, and it's a little easier. But anyways, I would bring this bin down with me and kind of carry stuff throughout the house. And yeah, that's why it's kind of random. Even though a lot of these are random, just to kind of hold things like seeds and old like wooden slices for ornaments. So these ones are kind of older. I want to say they're a couple years old, but they're in great shape. Yeah, I have some birch ones too. Up here, they're a little bit bigger, that I've used more recently. And then in here, I have more watercolor stuff. And here I have some like tablecloths and some books and things. Looks like more watercolor stuff, even that's a surprise for me. In here there is book pages, kind of for collaging. I would use those more so when I was painting with acrylics, which are really fun. You can kind of tear a page out or tear like a little piece of the page so you have this kind of message on your canvas. It's pretty cool. Up top here I have some oil painting supplies, just kind of some miscellaneous stuff, gold leaf, gold and silver leaf. I think I have rose gold, yeah, like a rose gold too, or copper. My spray paints are up here and some extra brushes. Some of the brushes are just not used, they're just gunky or couldn't be saved. A color cube and more books. And then over here I have my typewriter, which is really cool, I love. Some more paintbrushes, an old camera. That one doesn't work, but I do have another vintage camera. It's the film camera, and the pictures, they do look really cool. It's a little pricey to get them developed, so I don't do it too often. But you know, if you get the chance to, it's pretty cool. Just Kind of brings back, you know, some of that old time feeling of taking pictures, you know, many years ago. And then here I have my wheel of colored pencils. I bought all these mason jars to hold them, and then I have them in this Lazy Susan, which is pretty cool. It's really fun. And here I have some watercolor inks. These are really pretty. They're really concentrated, so you want to use a lot of water with them. And then I have this brand as well, which I have more of here, which are also really fun. So if you want to create a really vibrant watercolor painting, you can use watercolor inks. It's a really, really fun way to create. A lot of acrylic mediums and things here. I have some varnishes. Let me see if it's in here. I was going to show my favorite thing to use with acrylics. I like the glazing liquid. That works really well. I also like what it's called retarder. It kind of makes acrylic paints feel almost like oil paints, like you're painting with oils. Just like a really like nice buttery texture. Then I have my acrylics here, kind of color coded, which, you know, it ends up not being that way. But yeah, that's why they're in those colorful bins. So here is my computer where I do a lot of Photoshop work, where I digitize my art, creating patterns or just digitizing it for prints or stickers. Yeah, it's nice to have this kind of bigger screen to work on. It's really helpful. And then I have my scanner here, which is a Canon. I really like it. It works really well. And then it can scan in your art at a high resolution, so that's really helpful. And then I have my iPad here where I create a lot of patterns. Usually I draw something out and then I bring it into Photoshop and create the pattern that way, because there's a pattern preview on Photoshop, which is really cool. And then I have this little corner here with a bunch of paper. I'm hoping to maybe find a shelf for sale or something to organize my paper, because it just kind of hangs out here and it's probably not great to have it out all the time. Probably gets, you know, dusty or whatever, just to protect it, you know? Yeah, so this is basically my space. And I hope you enjoyed it and maybe gathered some ideas or some inspiration. If you have any questions, please let me know in the comments and I will answer them. But yeah, I hope you have a good day. Thanks.